TVGrace presents the inexpressible words of God, the gospel of grace, on the lips of Jesus Christ man. Abba, Father.
Today's topic is called the weakness of weakness. It is to say, weakness is weak. It is good to know this. Are you weak? Well, that has a weakness. And you know that the old covenant could not with weaknesses. God gave 10 commandments and 613 precepts. So no one could fulfill them. So God said, this is a job for Superman. He was born of a virgin and he was called Jesus of Nazareth. But as a man, because not as God, as a man, he came and fulfilled the law totally. And after he fulfilled it, what do you want? I want death, because he that lives by the law deserves to die. Well, I am their substitute, and he died for us. And he left an antidote to weakness. After he died, he left a medicine so that the weak can be strong. Now, listen to me. Listen to what I'm going to say. For 2,000 years, religions have hidden that medicine I'm going to speak about. The apostles, influenced by the knowledge of Jesus of Nazareth, since he was a Jew, they said, well, that is the example. He wasn't the example. He was the substitute. He didn't come as an example because he was fulfilling the law. And if you imitate Jesus of Nazareth and put your eyes on him, you become a Jew. And you're going to wind up on the cross because he was able, but you won't be able to. That's why they saw Paul as an antichrist. He said, no, don't look at Jesus of Nazareth and use him as an example. And the apostle says this is an antichrist because he's against Jesus. But what they didn't know, it was the science that Paul was preaching was so you won't be led into Judaism by trying to fulfill the law. And all of the religions in the United States are based on Jesus of Nazareth. He wasn't a Christian. What was he? He was born a Jew. He ate as a Jew. He fulfilled. They circumcised him on the 8th day as a good Jew. Listen, when that woman with the flow of blood touched hem of his garment, and it wasn't the hem of his garment, it was what the sick, those rituals they use on the side of their waist, those knots that the Jews had hanging on the side, represented the law, the 613 precepts of the law of Moses. And what she said, here is the man that's going to fulfill the law. And she hung on to that to receive the benefits of that covenant. And that's why she was healed. But then the science of grace was to come, explained by the Apostle Paul. The apostles did not understand that. When Paul arrived with this science, well, since they had not understood grace, they saw Christ as an antichrist. This must be an antichrist because the verbiage and doctrine of Paul was different. Paul was a legalist and he advantaged above all them apostles. But to Paul, God said, Paul, this is totally different from the law. Now, men are going to be able to be strong through the power of the gospel. As Paul said in Romans chapter 1:16, for I am not ashamed of the gospel because it is power unto salvation. Let's read this. I'm going to ask a question. For in the gospel, what is righteous to God, the righteousness of God is revealed from faith. In other words, it's revealed by faith, but you continue in the same attitude to faith. as it is written, the just shall live by faith. What does the next verse say? Let's go to verse 16, the prior verse, 1:16. For I am not ashamed of the gospel of Christ, for it is the power of God to salvation. One moment. For the salvation of your spirit, blood was shed. This isn't for the salvation of your spirit or to receive eternity. It's for salvation in the second aspect, so you can live in that salvation. So how are you going to live in that salvation if you are weak? You are worthless. Look at what Romans, so you can see Romans 7, verse 21. Look at what it says. Romans 7, verse 21. We are here in Rome. That's why they killed him in Rome, because the way he spoke. The Romans said, he's going to take our kiosks. So it says, I see a law that when I want to do good, evil is with me. So what is this? This is a law. Look, this is a law. If I let it go, where is it heading? Going down. You can't violate that. He that tells you, hey, you need to behave, don't slap him. Simply tell him how. Tell me how. You don't have to live ashamed. You think you surprise God with your weaknesses? God is crying. Those prisoners that are in guilt, pastors telling them, the devil, and their parents, you, and the mother and the lady that the mom puts guilt on because of their marital status. No, God is not upset with you. God made a plan so you can live in power. It's called the gospel of uncircumcision. That's why he says, I am not ashamed of the gospel of Jesus Christ, because it's that God gives you power to live in your weaknesses. That's why the biggest crime that was committed by those apostles, by all of these religions. That is worth for nothing. That is bull. That is poison. I am telling you, any religion that does not follow the counsel of the man Christ Jesus, it's in danger of disappearing if they don't listen to my counsel, because men are evil by nature. Romans 3:12. Listen, I'm not just using one verse and taking it out of context. I have various verses here. 3:12. All have turned away. They have together become worthless. Tell he that's beside you, the best day, Mr. Worthless. I'm saying that's not going to remain there, but for now, they have together become what? Worthless. There is no one who does good. Apostle, but they might be one. Not even one. Man, this is bad. We're going to call the Chapolin, so who can help me? Imagine. Listen, evil is in me. The good I want to do, I can't. 7:22, Romans 7:22. Look at what it says. I forgot to read it before. For in my inner being, or man, that is the spirit, that is the treasure in a vessel of clay. For in my inner man, I delight in the law of God, but I see. The problem is that there are folks that don't see it. I see another law in my members, warning against the law of my mind, and holding me captive to the law of sin that dwells in my members. I saw it long ago, and I said, listen, I belong to a church that you had to behave obligated, and you had to fast to kill the flesh, they would say. That doesn't die. And brother, I was 14 days without eating, 14 days in one of those fasts that my mother saw me, and she's begun to cry because some soap dishes developed here. If you put a soap here, it wouldn't fall. And when I came from that fast, my mother said, what have they done to you, my son? No, this is the power of God. This is the power of God. That's what all of these evangelicals, these Pentecostals use that are always on their knees. On their knees, you're not going to find nothing there. No, the Lord is going to make me strong. No. Our Father left us an antidote. Here, I left it here. It's called the gospel I gave to Paul. That's the error they commit. They think that God is going to help them. Oh, help my son. You help him. Oh, take care of my car. You take care of your car. Take care of my husband. You take care of him. Tell him to read the gospel. The Lord closed the offices of the beggars. Don't go there because there are no longer services there. The phones are disconnected. God is not helping anyone. God's left people to depend on the gospel. And we're going to speak this soon. So then there is no one good. I see a law that's in my members. You know how many times that law has put you to shame? You are evil. You are bad. You're no good. That's why they are psychiatrists. Listen, a brother was sharing with me through a letter a testimony. Today I was 3-4 hours reading testimonies from my last trip, from letters I received, many testimonies that are tremendous. And one of the testimonies I read said, I went through many psychiatrists and psychologists and no one can help me. The psychologist is trying to bring good out of something that has no provision. A psychiatrist or psychologist can't help you. What that does is just put a little Band-Aid and the next day it's infected. That doesn't work. But if the Lord speaks to you clearly and tells you, listen, if the Lord tells you, Paul speaking tells you, I am not ashamed of the gospel. Why are you not ashamed? Because it is power. But didn't you just say that there isn't one good and that evil dwells in me and I see that law? Yes, I'm telling you, but I am also telling you that there is a power that is, listen, you remember those comic books of Superman? That Superman was powerful. When I was a child, I would read them and I would say, wow, and the bridge was going to fall, and he would hold the bridge up while the cars passed through, and miracles he performed and resolved many problems, but he had a green stone that was called the kryptonite. Brother, and it didn't matter who showed up. Superman, how are you? I'm reigning. And he would go, and they would drop to their knees, the most powerful. So look, grace, the grace that I teach is the kryptonite of your weaknesses. That's what you've shared with me. That is what your letters say. I'm not here. I'm speaking what you've shared. Thank you, Apostle. You've changed my life. I used to be a person like this. I had problems. I was a disaster. Oh, since this word arrived, well, those are your testimonies. Well, all of that, I hear it daily. And how precious those testimonies, how precious. Who's going to leave this place? What do you need a membership card for? A membership card? No, I don't get it or sign off on it. You have to throw me out. But I'll come in through the roof. That is why we don't lose not even one member, because this is a great business transaction. To the weak, let the weak say, I am strong. You know what is that? Well, if you are weak, how are you going to say you're strong? That's hypocrisy. No, I am weak. But when grace gets in the midst, I say I am weak, but with grace, I am strong. Do you know the disobedience committed by the Apostle Peter and James and John and all of those folk that in the first era erased Paul from the equation, eliminated him? They plotted his death. You know what the Apostle Peter said? It isn't good that this man continues to live, because he resolves problems like this with the word, and the stamps and rosary and the holy water is going to be eliminated, because he with the word fixes everything. And it can't be with the word. Listen, that one day I had a revelation that the Pope appeared to me and he greeted me and he said, welcome. And I sat, and he said, what is going on that they're saying these things about you? And I said, well, I don't like to speak. I would like to show you biblically. And you know what he did? He did, no, leave that aside. Let's you and I speak. And the revelation ended. Those folk aren't in this business. There's nothing they know about the word. They have no understanding. If they understood, they would come to me and say, blessed, another one of us. No. Oh, they say, God bless you. They don't say bless. Que Dios te bendiga. Que Dios te continúe bendiciendo. What is he going to continue blessing me if I've been blessed with every spiritual blessing? It is here. What I have to do is read it and receive it. So they think that God is like with holy water. Listen, that is why pastors invite you to come forward. Help him. I think God says, help who, dude? It is you and you're not helped. Get into the power of God. Get into the gospel. There are folks that tell me, pray for me, Pastor. You pray. Me pray for you. No, it's that your prayer is powerful. There aren't powerful prayers here. No one prays. God is not in that business. If you begin to pray, what can get into your mouth are bugs. Get into the gospel. Read it, believe it, confess it. That's where the power of God is. People think that I have power. I am one that's worthless also. I'm saying if this is flesh, I also see that same law. People think you idolize me. Look how ignorant they are. They're down and they don't move forward. It is the power of this gospel that when you use it, what it is that you, in appreciation, you know that this came through me and you have an appreciation for that. And that's all the science behind it. I'm halfway through. Abba, Father. Second letter to Corinthians, chapter 12, verse 9. How do they say it in Puerto Rico? Ooh, this is good. Don't stop now. What does it say there? Say the word. Say, here we live by what's written. Here we don't deal with emotions, nor do we get carried away by feelings, nor with hallelujah or mysticality. The mystical things don't work here. Here's the mind and what's written. I believe, therefore I speak. And that is the power of God. And we make any person that's weak strong without prayer. Oh, you don't pray? For what? For what? But you don't go into a corner and pray? For what? Here, you confess what is written. That's that way. Let's read from verse 7. And so that I might not be exalted above measure by the abundance of the revelations, because Paul had a lot of revelation. The apostles knew nothing. Well, it says it here. The abundance of what? That he would not boast exceedingly. A thorn was given to him in the flesh, a messenger of Satan to torment him. So he doesn't exalt above measure. You know who was one of his thorns? Peter. One of them. Concerning this thing, I plead with the Lord 3 times to take it away from me. And he said to me, my fasting is sufficient. My grace is sufficient for you. Look, this isn't the one that's preached out there. This is the pure, the one that hasn't been cut. That's pure, one for one. It says, he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is perfected in your weakness. Therefore, I will boast all the more gladly above my weaknesses, so that Christ's power may rest on what? On me. I'm going to ask a question, and if you don't raise your hand, because it says there that if you glory and accept that you are weak, God says he's going to make you strong. But if you say, oh, I'm not weak, he's weak. How many are weak here? You are called so that the power of God works. You are saying, my position in the flesh is weakness, but I have the gospel. Say, I have the gospel. I know the gospel. I can confess the gospel. I am called to confess so that the power of God may be perfected in my weakness. Speaking about myself, because I am the weakest among all, because he says the most vile of the word is what he's chosen to put to shame the weak. So if I'm putting you to shame, it's that I am weaker. For 33 years that this knowledge has possessed me, it is a marvelous power, because I'm always in good spirit. I am always patient for things. Someone may be, or something disguised of evil, and I say, wait a minute, something good, it's tangled up in there, because since we have this confession, this knowledge, the evil or bad things, you turn them into positive things. That's why Paul says that for those that love the Lord, all things work together for good. So then a person that learns this word and is humble and obedient, because God doesn't work with the prideful. Those that have pride and are not humble and don't recognize truth, that is a condition, a spiritual condition, a condition of a wolf, of the wicked. I am proud of you and of the gospel, but it is a pride of admiration. But those that think that I'm first, I'm second, I know it all, those people, you have to treat them from a distance. Separate yourself from them. They're no good. Theirs is the last opinion. No. Let me contribute. Maybe I am the pinky of the members of the body. No. But the members of the body that help each other, that are united by the joints. No, I don't need no joints here. I am an arm here. I walk with an arm. If you are humble, you get places and you are loved by many. Ask, why do you have difficulty with many of your friends and no one seeks after you? If you are a person that loses friends immediately and then you get into that spirit, no one understands me. They're going to understand, brother, with that cemented face you have there. Let he that is weak say, I am strong. Ephesians 4:22. Ephesians 4:22, concerning your former conduct that you are well familiarized with, put off the old man, which grows. What revelation here? With reason, Paul said, I see a law in my members. No flesh is good. That old man or old woman or old whomever, old woman, whomever, grows corrupt. But notice it's given you a clue that if you discover it, according to deceitful desires, they're not real. You may be going through a situation that's a lie, but since you ate it as if it was true, no, I have a terrible memory. And why do you know that? Because my mother has been telling me from childhood that I forget everything. Oh, so that lie begins to accommodate itself into your personality. No, I can't remember nothing. Give me a recorder. But what I'm going to give you are only 4 numbers, but I'm going to forget them. What happens is like one that was making a commercial of a pill that brings back your memory from childhood to the current age. So someone called, what is the name of the pill? Listen, what's the name of the pill? I forgot. The pill didn't work. There are deceitful desires, my love. You can't live like that. No, it's that I have tendency, or that I have this, or that I have that I am going to die of this, that my mother went through this is going to happen to me also. That all of those from my village are hard faces. So therefore, there are folks that say, since my father was like that, I'm like that. Why are you like that? Because my mother was like this. Why do you think this way? Because those of my village think like that. Oh, where are you from? This is why I speak like this. Oh, those are deceitful desires. No, if I don't study, I'm going to be no one. Will try to study. There are people that have studied and are nothing because they brought with them the lie, oh, I am no one. And they went and educated themselves and they continue to be no one. You, Paul says that you are more than a conqueror. As a matter of fact, Paul said, I thank God. Thanks be to God whom always leads us in triumph. So how are you going to confess that you are always in defeat? This light and momentarily situation, how are you going to say that you've been all of your life and that the devil has you? That's the way they think. The devil has me. As those preachers such as Jimmy Swagger that commit deceitful desires and then they blame the devil. Well, look for the devil and arrest him. Don't arrest him because he says it's the devil. The devil made me do it. Well, find the devil and arrest the devil, but not you, because you didn't do it. There are the weaknesses. That's why Paul said, look, no temptation has overtaken you except such as a common to humanity. That ain't the devil. Those are deceitful desires. Know that someone put a spell on me, that I have an aunt that gave me the evil eye, and since that day, don't be a... How do they say... How's it said in your country? Well, don't be. How are you going to eat that lie that someone pulled a spell on you? That don't exist. The devil was destroyed 2,000 years ago. Whom determines the victory in your life? It is you tonight. You are the one that determines that. God is not going to help you. It is you. You decide. I'm more than a conqueror. That you will decide tonight. That is why there are folks that walk around. What's wrong with him? What's the matter? I need advice. I need someone to hear me out. Someone that's weak is going to hear you out. That's probably in a worse position than you are. That sees things differently, and he transfers the spirit of what he's going to through to you. And those counseling sections, sometimes terrible things happen because it is one deceitful man full of desires counseling someone else that has deceitful desires. And that destroys people. That I'm going to visit the priest from the parish. That's why the world is the way it is. Now, the greatest crime is to hindering this knowledge from reaching the mind of a human being. You see all of this opposition here in Miami is so that you don't come to the fountain where you receive the water. That's what Isaiah said. Everyone who thirsts, come to the waters, and you who have no money, come. There are no magical formulas here. Congregate, come and listen. Hear the CD, soak up this word. The media gives us 5 minutes to try to express. You can't express this in 5 minutes. You can't explain this. It's listening. So you are not feeling sorry for yourself. You don't need pity. Know that your father was this. That's his problem. Know that my mother mistreated you. I saw your aunt, the way she treated you. Leave my aunt alone. That's another one that's crazy. Let her find her source, a fountain of water. I found mine. That's what happened to Eve. What happened to Eve? Well, it was this dude. It was Adam. Oh, Adam, what happened? The serpent. Everybody blaming. No, blessed. That's in your hand. In your hand. They asked an old man whom they tried to deceive. Let's mess with him. Let's mess with him. The old man had knowledge. So I'm going to put a butterfly in the palm of my hand alive, and I'm going to ask him, Dad, what I have in my hand, is it alive or dead? If he says it's alive, I'll squeeze it. You know them butterflies are very fragile. And if he says it's dead, I'll let it fly. So they went to him, Dad, Tell me something. What I have in my hand, does it have life or is it dead? And the old man said, my love, the decision is in your hand. Let's read the last verse, Isaiah 35:8. 35:8. And there will be a highway. There will be a future. That did not take place on Calvary. It's speaking that they will be there in Miami. That didn't take place over there. Never. They killed Paul, and Paul was not able to explain. But it says there will come a time where there'll be there a highway, and that highway will be called the highway of holiness, not of weakness. You say, I am weak, but he makes you strong. He, there in your record, in that record, he says, when you falter, he passed with 100. But the evangelicals tell you, oh, in that book of life, they're going to put you to shame. No, but there in your little book, what it says is, okay, 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 okay. No uncleansed. The uncleansed shall not pass over it. Of course, certainly. We are all uncleansed, but since you call yourself, I am strong, by using the gospel that gives you salvation, the uncleansed shall not pass over it, but he'll be, hello, this is why you're not uncleansed. Listen to, but he'll be with them himself. Whoever walks the road, hello. You know what the original version says? Doesn't matter how weak they are. In Spanish, it says débil. It sounds like devil. It's almost written the same. Although a fool shall not go astray. What does it say there? That he'll himself be with us. That sounds like Hebrews 13:20, right? Now may the God of peace, who brought up our Lord Jesus Christ from the dead, the great shepherd of the sheep, through the blood of the eternal covenant, perfect you in every good work to the doing of his will, working you. You're working with your efforts and your decision. No, working in you what is well-pleasing in his sight. He that unites with the Lord is a spirit with him. So then, since you are one spirit with him, well, he in you, if you would allow it. Remember the butterfly, don't squeeze it, so life can come out of you. Abba, Father.